You ever spend half a year waiting on something that could give you your life back, only to have it ripped away by the one person who's supposed to protect the community? Yeah, that happened to me. 6 months of grueling pain. Every step a reminder of what I'd lost. Every phone call with the insurance company like a round with a heavyweight boxer. And finally, I was told my custom medical equipment was on its way. The thing I needed to walk again, not just shuffle from the bedroom to the living room with a cane, was coming that morning. Let me tell you, hope is a weird thing. It feels like a sunrise in your chest, even if it's just a knock on your front door. Now, Oak Ridge Estates looks like the sort of place you see on postcards, all clipped hedges and pastel mailboxes, the kind of neighborhood that has rules about your grass height, but calls them guidelines. Underneath all that, though, there's an empire built on paperwork, fear, and one woman's need for control. Karen Wilkins, mid-50s, always in a pressed blouse, hair frozen solid like a department store mannequin, and a smile that could cut glass. She didn't run Oak Ridge, she owned it. At least, that's what she thought. So when the delivery truck pulled up right outside my house around noon, my heart started racing. It wasn't nerves, it was hope, real and raw, like I was about to get my future handed back to me. I grabbed my cane, made my slow way to the door, and paused just long enough to see Karen coming across my lawn, clipboard in hand, striding like a sheriff at high noon, every step saying, "I dare you to stop me." She caught the driver before he'd even reached my walkway. "Excuse me," she barked, all sharp vowels and sharper attitude. "What do you think you're doing here?" The poor guy looked about 19, hair sticking to his forehead from the heat, just trying to do his job. Delivering a package to this address," he stammered. That's when I opened the door, doing my best not to let the pain show. "Hi, I'm the homeowner. That's for me, medical equipment I've been waiting months for." I tried to keep it light, but my jaw was so tight-eyed. Probably sounded like a ventriloquist's dummy. Karen blocked the path between us, eyes flicking over me like I was a code violation she couldn't quite pin down. "I'm Karen Wilkins, president of the Oak Ridge Estates HOA," she announced, like she expected confetti to fall from the sky. "We have very strict regulations about deliveries in this community." I tried to keep my cool. "Karen, this is medical equipment. It's all approved. I need it today." That look she gave me, half disapproval, half, "I'm about to ruin your week," was almost impressive in its own way. "Then you should have submitted a delivery request form. Section 23, paragraph 4. She tapped her clipboard for emphasis, each rap like a gavel. The driver just wanted to finish his route. "Ma'am, I just need a signature." He looked at me, desperate. Before I could say a word, Karen snatched the delivery tablet out of his hand. "I'll handle this," she said. "You can leave it with me. I'm the neighborhood representative." I felt something snap inside me. Maybe pride, maybe just the last nerve. I forced myself to step forward, pain flaring up my bad leg. "Absolutely not. That's my property." Her smile got tighter, like she'd just bitten into a lemon. "Then you should have followed the rules." And just like that, she turned her back, typing something onto the tablet. "I'm confiscating this package until proper documentation is filed," she declared. "It'll be stored safely at the community center." My hands shook. "Karen, that's theft." She actually laughed. "It's enforcement of standards. You'll get it back after you pay the $200 rush fee." The driver looked ready to run. I can't just," but Karen cut him off. "Do you want me to call your supervisor?" she snapped, turning her full attention to him, and for a second I saw the scared kid behind the uniform. That's when I pulled out my phone. "No need. I'll call the police." My voice sounded strange in my own ears, cold, tired, but determined. Her smirk faltered, but she still didn't back down. While I was on the phone with 911, she worked her magic on the driver, whispering and gesturing until, wouldn't you know it, I looked up and my $8,000 custom medical equipment was being loaded into the back of her SUV. My stomach dropped. "Karen, that's theft," I shouted. She rolled down her window like we were at a parade, gave me a tight, pageant smile, and said, "You'll get this back when you learn to follow the rules." Then she drove off, just like that. 6 months of agony and waiting, disappearing down the street in a luxury SUV with a vanity plate that read Queen Bee. I'm not making that up. I just stood there, numb, cane digging into the grass. The driver kept apologizing. He looked like he'd seen a ghost. I didn't know what to do, sir. She said she was in charge. I gave him a tired smile. You're not the first victim of an HOA dictator. Don't beat yourself up. 20 minutes later, 2 patrol cars showed up. I gave them everything: ID, paperwork, emails, even a printout of the HOA bylaws. One of the officers, Detective Rodriguez, really listened. So, she acknowledged this was medical equipment before taking it, he asked, scribbling notes. Yeah, I said, still trying not to lose it. She said it had to go through proper channels. He shook his head, jaw tight. That's not just theft. That's grand theft, medical property. That's a felony. He radioed her address. We're going to have a talk with Mrs. Wilkins. I watched the patrol cars head down the street, sirens off, but lights flashing just enough to let the neighborhood know something was up. For the first time all day, I felt a flicker of hope. Maybe the system did work, once in a while. An hour later, they were back, with my equipment, still sealed in the box, not a scratch on it. Rodriguez handed it over with a smile. Recovered. Businesslike. She's being booked for grand theft. Felony. Up to 3 years in state prison, plus fines. The DA takes this stuff seriously. As they left, my phone blew up. Group chats, HOA emails. Neighbors gossiping like wildfire. The board had already called an emergency meeting. Within the hour, an official message went out. Effective immediately, Karen Wilkins has been removed as HOA president due to a serious violation of community ethics. The Queen had finally been dethroned. Later that night, I watched from my window as Karen was dropped off by her husband. Gone was the perfect hair, the polished look, the air of invincibility. She looked human. Our eyes met for a second, hers full of shame and something close to fear. For the first time, I saw her not as a villain, but as someone who'd finally faced a consequence. A week passed, and the gossip mill turned to facts. Karen's sentence, 18 months of probation, a $7,000 fine, and 200 hours of community service at a medical equipment distribution center. You can't make that kind of irony up. The woman who tried to keep life-changing help out of my hands was now passing it out to people who needed it. Sometimes, the universe has a sense of humor sharper than any HOA lawyer. Now, every time I take those first steady steps with my new equipment, I remember that day, not just the anger and helplessness, but the moment everything changed. It's wild how one act of cruelty can rally a whole community, get people talking about power, justice, and what's actually right. It's even wilder how sometimes, if you stand your ground, even the biggest bully can be brought down, not by a mob, but by the quiet force of what's fair. So here's the question I can't stop turning over in my mind. Where do you draw the line between enforcing order and abusing power? Is it ever okay for someone in charge to bend the rules for what they think is right? Or should there always be consequences, no matter who you are? I want to hear what you think. Share your thoughts down in the comments. Ever had your own HOA nightmare? Tell your story. Or just let me know where you stand on justice, revenge, and second chances. And hey, if you want to see more stories where the underdog wins and the rules get flipped, hit that subscribe button. Drop your rating out of 10, and don't forget to ring the bell so you don't miss the next chapter. Thanks for sticking with me. Now, go take on the world, one step at a time.